It's really crazy out here. They've got all the people rounded them up and said, "Listen, y'all gonna pay." Obviously, due to the New York Adult Survivors Act that was lasting a year, which ended on November 24th, I believe, if I'm correct. There has been over 2,500 cases launched, and a lot of those cases have been from correctional facilities, which means the New York State Department gonna be sued their ass off as well. So you ain't the only ones, right? They're being sued. But then there's also some of your favorite stars. There's Bill Cosby once more again. He can't catch a break. Cuba Golding, Axl Rose from the Guns N' Roses, Trump, Disney, Bad Boy Records, Jamie Foxx, and a few others, to say the least. White, black companies, all included in these lawsuits. We're going to read an article in The Guardian which speaks about it. But in all honesty, this situation has opened our eyes up to the depravity and the freedom to commit such crimes. And yes, people may be complaining, like, why are people getting the opportunity now to come back and, sue people so late in the game? But the reality is, justice is justice, no matter how you get it. Now, it's unfortunate that you can't get justice for them to be criminal, but justice where financially you can hurt them in their pockets, that hurts just as much. They might be able to walk around freely, but at least they can walk around with a little dent in their pocket, And sometimes you've got to take a win as a win. I've said this before. Not every victory can be done. And it's very hard to prove sexual assault and sexual violence in some of these cases as well. So, and, we're talking about decades ago and where technology is not up to where it is now. So there's a whole bunch of things that play into these situations. But the reckoning is here. People are getting their so-called just desserts in some shit regard. And I'm here for it. You know what I mean? If you're going to do bad things like that, immoral things, illegal things, then you need to be called out. And if the fact is the only damage you're getting is financial, you should count yourself lucky. But we're going to talk a little bit about this on this thing. I want to read an article as well, but you can see a picture of Cuba Golding, who was also accused of 2 sexual assault lawsuits. Before we go anywhere, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for the notification of the uploads. We really appreciate you guys for rocking with us all the while. We're trying to get to 100K, so please do click and like and share on this channel. We like to entertain and educate as well. And then don't forget, we have merchandise. Click on the link below and join our membership. It's £1 or $1 as well. We'd love to see you guys. Okay. Let's get into this because it's a lot that's going on, and I want to read an article really quickly because I think it just speaks volumes. That's not even the wrong article. I think of a different article I want to think of. Yeah, there we go. So Axel Foss, Adams, Florida, last-minute claims give sexual abuse law powerful legacy. Okay, so I want to read this as well. I'm going to read an article. It says, New York's long look-back window on sexual assault closed last night after a flurry of last-minute claims against high-profile figures, including singer Axl Rose, actor Jamie Foxx, and the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams. Everybody can get it. Some of the alleged incidents date back decades in claims that would otherwise have fallen outside the statute of limitations. The New York state law, which allows adult sexual abuse survivors to sue their abusers beyond the state of limitations for the course of 1 year, saw approximately 2,500 claims. It closed at midnight on Thursday. It grabbed headlines immediately when the writer E. Jean Carroll restated a rape and defamation claim against Donald Trump mere minutes after the look-back window opened. So Donald Trump is also part of it as well. We kind of knew about that, Late on Wednesday night, a summons against Adams' alleged sexual assault, battery, and employment discrimination by Adams when he and the plaintiff both worked for the city of New York in 1993. The accusation against Fox also came as the law was expiring. Other accusations were filed against photographer Terry Richardson, music producer Jimmy Iovine, comedian Bill Cosby, and others. The Guns N' Roses singer Axl Rose was accused of in Manhattan hotel room more than 3 decades ago by actor and model Shayla Kennedy. Rose used his fame, status, and power as a celebrity and performer in the music industry to gain access to manipulate, control, and violently sexually assault Kennedy's suit alleges. Now, what's really crazy about this is, look, these guys have power, women, and all that kind of stuff. But it's not about that. It's about the control and it's about the power. Now, of course, we all play games. We all play mad games. But why are you not playing games with people that want to consent to play these games? Why are we, using our power, status, anything like that to box these women into decisions that they don't want to make? It's like we are doing madness to ourselves. But the reality is, this is all about power and control. And so a lot of these people, whilst we look at them as stars and stuff, they have issues with control and power, and they want to feel powerful. And so they exert their power on someone who doesn't have power in order to feel better about themselves. One of the last claims was an accusation by singer Cassie Ventura against Sean Diddy Combs, alleging and severe physical abuse during their relationship. Combs swiftly settled with Ventura. Just so we're clear, a decision to settle a lawsuit, especially in 2023, is no admission of wrongdoing, Combs' attorney Ben Braffen said in a statement. Most of the cases will take years to come to court if they ever do, but the most high-profile case so far has already reached a conclusion. A jury found Trump liable for sexually abusing and defaming Carroll and ordered him to pay $5 million in damages. Something about me feels off, and it's get your money, but are we diminishing the act of what's happening here? Because what they're talking about is a heinous crime. This is not they stole from you and intellectual property rights and stuff like that. This is they took away from you sovereignty, right? They touched you, or they raped you, or they sexually violent you. And is money if people suing for money now, is that a way of cheapening what actually happened? And will it downgrade how people look at that actual action? Because we're reducing it to monetary funds, not prison time. That's another story. 2,500 odd claims are fewer than 11,000 claims that were filed during 2019's Child Victims Act window. A similar window in that case, 2 years that temporarily expanded New York state of limitations on child abuse cases. Beyond a long year, a supply of headlines featuring high-profile names. Many say that the adult survivors windows signed into law by the New York Governor Kathy Hochul in May last year may not have lasted long enough to address all the potential claims by survivors. It was noted that many victims do not have a powerful law firm behind them with a possible settlement award at the end of the process. 1 year windows tend to be driven by a plan to go after certain money in certain cases. Listen to this. Not because some generic law professor is interested in statute of limitations, said Wendy Murphy, a civil and constitutional rights attorney at the Women's and Children's Advocacy Project in Boston. The first wave tends to be valuable financially, or as with the Trump situation, politically, and always driven by law firms that know exactly how much at stake and how to get it. Many of the claims filed under the Adult Survivors Act have a powerful institution named as a defendant. So they're going after the money from the business, right? They're going after the companies who employ these people and going after the money that way. Several were brought by the law firm by Wigdor, which helped push for law that allows for people who are sexually assaulted at work or in the care of an institution like a hospital or jail to sue that entity. Doug Wigdor, who represented women who testified against Harvey Weinstein at his trial for and criminal sex acts, said last year that he anticipated a very interesting case that came about in the employment cases where powerful men who were supervising women or overseeing women sexually assaulted them, and they were able to hold their perpetrator accountable, but also their employers, which is fair play. Because if you're a company and you say we're gonna hush this out, and you want to be involved and pay money to the people, then yeah, they're gonna call you out. You know what I mean? Because in some sense you've not helped the person, you've swept underneath the rug. Sorry about that. You swept underneath the rug. You just want this thing to go away. And so then now you become accountable because you also aided and abetted in this madness. That has come to pass last month. The actor Julia Ormond filed a lawsuit against Weinstein, claiming the movie mogul sexually assaulted her in 1995 and naming Disney and CAA as defendants for allegedly telling her to stay quiet after the assault, which is fair. Earlier this week, a new lawsuit alleging was also filed against comedian Bill Cosby under the Adult Survivors Act, naming NBCU Universal, which broadcast the Cosby Show, and the production companies associated with it as co-defendants. How does that work? Were you on the show, or were you working on production? Were you a part of the company as to why this is happening, or just that part doesn't make sense for me. Many have denied the claims. Our accusations were brought against Leon Black, the billionaire co-founder of the private equity company or private equity firm Apollo, by a victim who alleges she was assaulted in Jeffrey Epstein's Manhattan mansion, and names the disgraced finances estate as a co-defendant. Black then countersued Wigdor for malicious prosecution, claiming that the firm's business model is based on threatening to sue defendants with scandalous allegations that can be avoided only at the cost of large settlement, which Wigdor takes a substantial cut, which I get it. They have more invested in the situation than they like to admit. It's not about just helping the people. They've got the money to go after. There's money to be made and there's money to be found. I hear it. The reach of the law and the lawyers using it has been extraordinary. Adverts on New York subway trains promote a lawsuit for the victims of the convicted abuser and former gynecologist Robert Haddon, advising MTA riders that time is on our side, but it's not unlimited, and to join a class action against Haddon and Columbia University Hospital. Oh, they really gone after these businesses. Among his accusers is Evelyn Yang, the wife of former president candidate Andrew Yang, who alleges Haddon assaulted her in 2012 while she was 7 months pregnant. Some 159 survivors have signed up through a single law firm, Herman Law, and there may be thousands more. Hey, for one man, Haddon, hey, yo, you are really bugging, bro. That many women, bro. You don't know how to move sensibly? You don't know how to move correct? These are the kind of people that have power and they don't care. They don't care what they do. The scale of some of the other cases is also mind-boggling. Approximately 1,800 women, many represented by law firms Slater, Shulman, claimed they were abused while incarcerated in county jails and state prisons by mostly male correctional officers. You know what? It's a crazy number, Adam Slater, a managing partner, told the New York Daily Record earlier this month. Slater noted that the detainee guard relationship is an extreme power imbalance, and anyone in correctional custody is illegally incapable of consent. Absolutely, is our word. Some attorneys say it's too soon to judge how effective the window has been in bringing abusers to justice. I'll be honest with you, they're not going to come to justice. It looks like they're going to get money. But again, I don't know what the smaller cases are doing, but it just seems like there's going to be money that's on the table for those who have big clients or big people they're trying to sue. Most of these lawsuits are in early stages and not single trial date has been set, said Jacob Aidinger, communications director at Crumella, who worked at Wigdor for 5 years during the height of the Me Too movement. Okay, so Wigdor have a specialty. They like tackling these sexual stuff that happens at the workplace. They're on it. Aidinger said there are already efforts to be re-extend the window when New York legislator opens next year. But he added the most important element of the law was to add institutional liability so that claims were not only filed against the individual abuser, but also the institution that protected or otherwise enabled the abuser. I love that. High-profile media and entertainment cases that have been filed may serve a purpose of publicizing the window, but there was no money attached to the legislation to bring it to the public's attention. And now it is closed before individuals with less self-awareness of the rights have had time to come forward to seek accountability. 1 year is not nearly enough time for survivors to come forward, said Aidinger. His firm and others, he said, had recently been bombarded with messages from potential clients. It's not enough to make sure that people know this law exists, but you also have to take into account that if someone was abused years or decades ago, to suddenly come forward to see justice against an abuser is a difficult decision to make, he added. But unfortunately, unless the defendant has a lot of money and there is institutional liability, then it's going to be difficult for the client and financially justify going into civil court. I get it. Basically, if you haven't got money, shut the frick up, because we ain't talking to you, right? Because we can't go after them because they don't have an institute that's backing them as to what is happening, right? Very painful. The fact that there is no stated reason for the cutoff of the Adult Survivors Act has baffled some. Why would you want a cutoff date? Why would you want not to be very clear to anyone who has done this before, who had done this sort of behavior, that you will never have a day of peace or be able to look over your shoulder and not wonder if there's a lawsuit coming against you tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, said Murphy. I agree that part as well. It's better. I guess it's better to keep it open, because then people are going to be literally will be like, well, I don't know when it can come out and happen to me. And the reality of the situation is, yeah, because you shouldn't be doing it in the first place, right? You shouldn't be using the power that you have to abuse people. It's disgusting, right? But I'm glad they're able to help and get justice for some people when it comes to financial corporations, personal individuals as well, because this will start a precedence for people as well when they want to attack. I want to say this: the reckoning has come. Whether it's a time or season, I'm not sure, but I don't know what the time of season is. But what I do know by noticing is that it seems to be the time of reckoning, and people are getting reckoned up, right, left, and center, who have moved mad in the early 90s and stuff like that, 80s, because they've abused their power in their relationship with other people to get them to sleep with them, which is disgusting, right? But we're going to leave it there. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification uploads. We appreciate you. Stay locked.